This is a presentation of the Star Ladder I-League Chinese series between none other than TongFu and FTD.C. These two teams are going into a best of two, so we're going to be seeing potentially some early momentum here in Star Ladder China. This is only day 3, but we've got a nice little week ahead of Star Ladder, and of course, it's a nice little thing to watch while, of course, we're waiting for the majors to show the big dogs going at it. So, very happy to be able to broadcast these games on behalf of ETS for you guys, and without further ado, let's jump right on into it. I'm Blaze, and we've got ourselves a draft. So, looking at it right now, we've got TongFu actually going with the first pick. They burned a lot of reserve time, though. I will note that. They absolutely took a long time to ban out that Darkseer. Their full regular time, and then probably like 40 seconds, 40 seconds for the Darkseer there. It seemed like they were gonna just figuring out the drafting strategy against FTD here. Maybe they hadn't done enough preparation for it. I'm not too sure, but yeah, usually the first ban isn't the one you want to be burning the reserve time on. That's the one you should know by heart going into the match. Anyways, Darkseer, Slardar banned out. We're going to be seeing Undying as the first pick, Queen of Pain, Dazzle as the response, and Winter Wyvern as the secondary pick here. So Undying Wyvern have a lot of natural healing components, a lot of ability to just go at it with a lot of pushing early on. The Cold Embrace is great to keep creeps alive under tower. Tombstone is great to fight under tower. So I think this is really a death ball lineup. This is designed to, as soon as everybody hits level 6, them start running down lanes and just killing off people and obviously taking their towers with them. But they're going to need a little bit more physical damage emphasis for that. So you see the physical damage dealers here banned out, Razor as well as the Alchemist, while TongFu themselves take out the Gyrocopter and the Bounty Hunter. So should be pretty interesting to see kind of a different set of cores coming into play here. Some Tower Destroyers could be pretty strong. Clinks isn't too bad at it. TA is still decent in this pool. I would say pretty good on the side of TongFu if they want to pick it up for their 4th pick. But for now, they've got their support that will excel in team fights, great in zoning, and they've got their kind of off-lane / roaming support that will be putting pressure out more on lanes and looking for kills. But they don't actually go for push, they go for fight, and they're going to be going for this Ember Spirit. So obviously the sleight of fist is very powerful. The Searing Chains is considered a pretty solid counter to the Queen of Pain. Halting her blink mobility sets up a lot of chain stun potential. But all in all, yeah, I guess he's just excels in the fact that right now FTD don't have that many stuns for themselves. But with a Dazzle Rubik duo of supports, you're very unlikely to catch an Ember Spirit off guard. Rubik has telekinesis, of course, but he's not going to get a Blink Dagger for quite some time. And that means the Ember Spirit's going to be free to just play on the lanes with BOTs prior to that time period where Queen of Pain doesn't have the Hex, or Rubik doesn't have the Blink. He's pretty much able to just free farm it up unless you go for some longer range initiation here. I think offlaner probably the pickup for FTD here now. Still the Clockwork in the pool is the most common offlaner, but I want to see something a little bit different here. So let's see what they can get to kind of have more of a stake in the offlane and get more involved here. I'm curious to see what they have up their sleeve here. FTD Club C, obviously the C team, the 3rd team of FTD Club. I don't know much about this club, but they are bringing in some pretty good players, so I gotta at least appreciate their contribution to the Chinese scene, because for a long time, all China has been all about the Tier 1 teams. It's been all about those Tier 1 players, and just about nothing else. If you're not like IG or Vici Gaming, then suddenly you're just worthless, and LGD's been kind of like the mid-tier. Now suddenly we're seeing those teams being promoted to the top tier, as now we have all of these up-and-comers vying for potential. Vici Gaming potential, Newbie Young, eHome has a Kings lineup, FTD has these 3 clubs. I mean, there's just so many B teams that you'll look for to kind of rise through the ranks here. And inspired by CDEC, I think they have some potential to really chase their dreams here. But for now, we're going to be seeing the Bristleback come through for FTD Club C. I think that's still their offlaner, but it's hard to say. I would say Dazzle Bristleback is a really good offlane duo to put pressure out against the Winter Wyvern at +1. If the Ember Spirit is farming safe lane, it really hurts him, but if he's just farming mid, then it'll hurt his counterpart there. Sven, not too bad here, I would say, in the sense that like you need somebody with good physical armor now. You need to mitigate the effects of the Dazzle back as best you can. Otherwise, a Silver Edge carrier could be pretty good. If you break the Bristleback, take away his mitigation component with his passive, then all you have to worry about is that Shallow Grave to burn through, and then you're going to be in a pretty good spot. So I kind of like the idea of a Silver Edge hero, but, you know, anything with good armor in general is going to be important.
Templar Assassin. Radiant team ban.
Templar Assassin is going to be that pick. I mentioned it earlier as a potential 4th pick here for TongFu. Still a really strong hero in this pool in general. But, yeah, you're going to be really relying on the Refraction to survive through all of this. And FTD.C could just pick up one hero that could negate a lot of the Refraction charges through damage over time. And from there, the TA might be considered vulnerable. I'm not so. I still think it's a strong pick, but I don't think it's going to necessarily address what FTD are bringing with the Queen of Pain and the Bristleback. I think TongFu is just looking to play their own game and just garner momentum. If they can start snowballing the Ember and the TA through the use of their kind of potent support draft they opened with, I think they have a lot of potential in the mid game. But you know, we'll have to see. For now, the Night Stalker's going to get banned out. Yeah, Bounty Hunter's still pretty strong here, I would say. Not bad at the very least.
Reserve time.
What else could you pair with that Undying down bottom? Really becomes the question then. I mean, a lot of heroes can work well with it. The Night Stalker would have been amazing with it, but you know, you can still go with like an Ogre, a Bounty Hunter, just something that really sticks to the lane and gets an annoyance factor up there. I think Spearbreaker could have been good for TongFu too, but of course FTD.C are picking first between the two teams. And Wyvern Undying certainly don't cancel Charge of Darkness very easily. In fact, the only thing you're going to really see do that is Searing Chains coming out from the Ember Spirit. Centaur Warrunner. Oh man, I love this guy. I've been drafting him a lot recently, and he brings a lot to the table. Centaur is just one of those heroes that, if he can get through the laning phase relatively well, he brings so much with his level 6 timing, and of course, when he gets his Blink Dagger. Hoof Stomp Double Edge, just a great combo to burst down these squishier heroes, and while Ember Spirit might be able to jump away before the Hoof Stomp connects, the Templar Assassin probably going to be inflicted on before she gets her Blink Dagger, and just create some issues. Nyx going to be coming out for TongFu here in their offlane. This means Undying is not really going to be focused on that offlane. Undying plus Nyx, really not a great duo to put pressure out, and yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see. Did have a connection issue getting into the game. Hopefully that doesn't mean that we're having firewall issues again tonight, but we'll have to see as we start to load into the game itself. So, Centaur Warrunner, is that going to be a safe lane Centaur? No, it's going to be off lane Centaur and then safe lane Bristleback, presumably. I still like the idea of off lane Bristle Dazzle. I think that duo could still be really annoying. We're done with the draft, Valve. Please reboard. Take us to the game. There we go. Hey, voice commands. At least those work. Alrighty, so we've got ourselves a nice little game here, and let's check it out. We're going to be looking over at the Radiant side here. This is actually my first time casting the C team of FTD, though I have seen plenty of their A and B squads. Featuring is going to be the Bristleback here. That'll leave Monet on the Queen of Pain side lane here. She's going for that Null Teller start with the items you see there. That's going to be Aeon and the very interesting Dazzle Garb. What is that get up there? I don't even know what I'm looking at right now. He's got baggy dress. He's got the crazy headpiece. He's an Acolyte Priest, apparently. So that's interesting. But we're going to see a clash, so enough with the cosmetics. Let's see some blood. We're going to see two heroes caught in, a nice two-man decay, but now we see a Nyx Assassin brought into a really bad spot, and he skilled his Impale level 1 instead of the Spike Carapace, so no chance to get out of there. I'm really not sure about that invasion tactic. I mean, obviously I didn't expect FTD.C to have suddenly 4 heroes behind the tree line, but man, that was very unfortunate, and I think they probably... first of all, you save your skill point to make sure that you can get the most value out of it. And I think the Spike Carapace would have been a little bit stronger there. Not much stronger, since the stun's only half the duration of that of the Impale. But maybe enough to get him out, because he doesn't have to turn to cast it. Anyways, this is going to be the situation where Zex Bingo has to watch himself. The Nyx Assassin is a very good hero in terms of restoring his HP. He's got 2 mangoes, as well as a very high natural HP regeneration, which means that essentially he's going to have unlimited sustain, but he's going to have a lot of issues getting bursted down. If they can bring him from like 100 or 80% HP to 0, and he just can't disengage, then he really can't take advantage of the overtime regeneration that his double mango build is featuring. Anyways, so I was doing some introductions here where we've got the bottom lane pretty well covered with Ripuk on the Rubik. That's a fun name. Faith getting involved here. Trying to do what he can, but, you know, he's just actually sticking with the Nyx Assassin here. I didn't really think this lane had too much dual lane potential. Usually just see the Nyx going solo so he can get the faster 6, but here, Undying thinks he can make something happen, so he'll do his best to accomplish that. But we'll have to look over the other lanes while that goes back and forth. And he does get his boots on the Undying, so he's going to be very involved. Anyways, we got U9 here on the Templar Assassin dueling it out with the Bristleback. And Bristleback is going to be strong for a moment, but Magic Wand's already up there with Templar Assassin, and I would say this gives her the edge. It just fuels her refraction so much, getting those stick charges. Anyways, we've got LPC running on the support Wyvern, going up against XLW on the Centaur Warrunner, who also has a Mango, as well as a 101 build to avoid too much harassment. And then, yeah, Shinkyu is going to be running on his Ember Spirit, which of course he's very well known for. So, yeah, right now 8-2 for the Bristleback, 7-0 for the TA, but I feel like TA is still going to have a better potential later as it goes forward. We do see XLW a little bit too far forward here, taking a lot of hits, thanks to that Arctic Burn, but now the Wyvern really doesn't have anything to commit to this engagement, and XLW is pretty confident, just tangoing back up and getting that 9.4 regen while the Manga is active. Nyx Assassin, they're not even bothering harassing him. There's absolutely no point in auto-attacking a Stout Shield double Mango Nyx. If you're not going to kill him anytime soon, like within the next 20 seconds, an auto-attack is completely worthless. It'll just get healed right back up. You see 5.2 continuous regen. It's just so hard to poke him out. I still think there's some oh, okay, the Courier making its delivery. Little baby Nova Courier. Pretty awesome. Anyways, I still think there's some value in occasionally poking and prodding at him, because if you play the laning phase for like the first 5 minutes, not poking, not touching him, and then suddenly you start attacking him, he's going to expect that you have the plans to go on him shortly. So you don't want to convey that mentality as you go for your harassing. So there's a little bit of mind games to it, but otherwise, auto attacks are pretty well worthless just to poke and prod. Faith is actually going to be going back with full HP and mana, and now going right back out on the lane. It looks like he really wants to start spamming his decay on targets. Gets the Rubik, and just going to keep punching him. In the mid lane, Bristleback taking a lot of heat. I'm assuming he knows when to disengage, so I'm not expecting a kill here. But even still, he's being poked so far back that it's a lot easier for the Templar Assassin to CS, now leading 15-5. So I think the Bristleback's just going to keep Bottle Crowing, and this is actually his second Bottle Crow now, and he's not even going to be able to pick up the 4-minute rune. This is actually getting quite awkward for him. I think Bristleback will bring a lot to the mid-game, but in this early stage it's not doing much. Actually, you can see up top here, the Centaur Warrunner looks to be going down. One more hit. He tries to trade hits with him with the Double Edge, the Flame Guard level 2. Let's see, 200 absorption, the double edge is 250 damage, so I think that would have actually killed him since he dropped so low from the tower. Either way though, Centaur just caught a little bit too far forward in this really nice Wyvern play. The Arctic Burn doing a lot of work here. Surprised about the early Sleight of Fist though. You'd expect more like the second point in Searing Chains. And a Phase Boots build at that! Man, we're going to see something very different from this Ember Spirit. Shinkyu, I haven't really tracked his more recent Ember Spirit builds, but I'm expecting something completely different than what you normally see. Going for Phase instead of Treads or BOT, so Faith going to be caught out here. It does have the Soul Rip, but not a lot of creeps to make it useful. He's going to use it, I'm sure, but maybe just for the kill on the Rubik. No, he heals himself, and they do get the stun and nuke combo onto the Rubik. So they'll get one and try to disengage from there. A lot of magic stick charges here on Bingo, so he will be able to make it out and heal right back up to full. Very nice maneuver there. Close, but they will find their quarry in the end. The Rubik's so slow, even with boots. But yeah, so talking about this Ember Spirit, I really feel like we're going to be seeing something different. A lot more emphasis on Sleight of Fist, where the attack damage is much more valuable. It's plus 24. And maybe even some right-click items. Like, obviously, Drums is still really good for the stats overall, and I expect him to maybe still at least pick up that staple, but maybe we'll even see something more fight-oriented and combat-oriented than the Battle Fury. I don't know. A man could dream. I like to see diversity in the builds, and I always think that... I think that Battle Fury is like a 95% item on Ember Spirit. You get it pretty much every game. But I still think there's those 5% of games that another alternative might be better. But oh, this is a pretty dead Bristleback. Even with his back turn, even bottling and sticking up. That's a double damage rune at U9, and Ripuk just not there with the TK. So that is going to be a very firm TA. Actually picking up her treads here, only 6 minutes in. And another rune, perfect timing again. This is another time where the Bristleback would love to be bottling a rune and bring himself back up to full, and instead, he's dead. Or incapable. So top rune covered, U9 had the DD before, now he's got a bounty on top of that. Unfortunately, it's not the haste rune. You get red and blue, you get the double damage and the haste, and then suddenly you're finding yourself another kill. But he's still doing great on the mid lane here, topping out net worth by a 700 gold margin. Very impressive. So we're going to see an engagement here as they go over the cliff. Faith and LPC converging onto Bristleback, trying to shut him down, and they'll accomplish just that. We will see some damage going into Faith here, but the Cold Embrace heals him right back up. No problem at all. So they make a good rotation. Just finding the opportunity to flank with the Undying, and then, of course, getting the cliff play up here for the Wyvern. Really good combo. And this ward unable to allow the Bristleback to survive. And it's good that the Ember Spirit's here. Like, he's able to really go toe-to-toe with the Centaur Warrunner here, with all of his spells. Like, the Flame Guard makes him an almost impossible kill for the Centaur Warrunner. So what that means is essentially now we're seeing the two solo laners that don't have to be babysat constantly. The Nyx Assassin, the Ember Spirit, they like the support, they like the free space, but they don't need to have somebody looking over their shoulder constantly. So you get to make cool rotations like this. Wyvern and Undying go to the mid lane. Now, Wyvern goes bottom, gets some good D-warding out. Like, just controlling the entire map here, as it currently stands. Looking for some stacks here, only the single for the Ancients, double for the hard camp, and that looks to be about it. They're really not taking full advantage of the Bristleback. I would say a core Bristleback that you put in like the mid lane instead of the off lane, you want to start stacking Ancients early, because at level 7 this guy can farm those Ancients. The Ancient Black Drake buff makes it a little bit harder with the extra armor, but it's still very, very possible to do it with one full mana bar. But we're going to see actually a smoke play here. This could be really good. With the Stampede available, they're already taking out all the Refraction. U9 going for the TP. Do they Hoof Stomp too early? Oh, the Sonic Wave. And every other spell in their arsenal used to kill off the TA before that TP concludes, and only getting 287 gold out of it. Don't get me wrong. It's a good kill. It's an important kill for FTD.C, but losing the Dazzle in the bottom to the Nyx Assassin before he even uses Vendetta. And then we have a single kill on a Templar Assassin, costing them mostly this 135-second cooldown ultimate. The Stampede is only like 90. Yeah, so all in all, 4 heroes, 2 ultimates, 1 TA, and then you lose the Dazzle anyways down bottom. It's not great. Arcane Boot's already up for Faith. This guy's only level 4, but he's already boasting a good set of items to keep their aggression rolling down bottom. Mana is all the Nyx Assassin needs. He ate a mango just now, and turns it into a mana burn against the Quap. And very shortly we're going to see them actually go for maybe a more aggressive play under tower against her. Let Tombstone cooling down. I would consider Nyx Assassin at the very least a soft counter to the Queen of Pain. Spike Carapace is just so good against Queen of Pain, and then of course as an int hero she can be mana burned pretty heavily too. So I see a lot more teams when they're going up against Quap, which is one of the more common picks in 6.85, to pick up the Nyx Assassin and to try to counter out that way. It looks like Shinky will get himself a freebie here as they try to convert 3v1 and have no way to pin him down. He Sleight of Fist dodges the Hoof Stomp, and then he just kills off the Rubik. Just absolutely tearing through them right now. He's doing some really good work. Now we're actually going to see them look to dive. Wow! It's just such a strong hero in such an aggressive position. He's going to go in with a little bit more Remnant, but that does cost him a lot of mana. Still he'll drop the chains, and kill off the Centaur, while the Cold Embrace negates the heal bomb from Shadow Wave. So Shinkyu under tower, perfectly fine, and just going to look to TP away. As try as they might, they can't finish him off, and that will set them up for a 7 and for 2. While TA just sits in mid and free farms. Her Ancient Stack is looking pretty dry as well. And then, of course, Faith is getting solo experience while the Nyx is starting to get mobile. Probably looking for the Blink Dagger next. Arcane Boots are really good still, but I think the Blink Dagger is probably more important here.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And there's the Bristleback starting to go to work, but this is so inefficient. Wasting so much mana on these Ancients and only working with a double stack here. Nyx Assassin waiting for an opportunity, but he is getting hit by 3 quill sprays. And we'll just have to keep lurking for a little bit here. Now, the Vendetta duration is 40 seconds at level 1, so we can afford to sit around here for a little while, but he's not leeching experience, as Ancient Creeps don't actually go for that trade. Did you see Centaur Warner trying to hoof stomp his way out of this one, but it looks like he'll just be going down, and really can't do anything to help himself. Just delays the inevitable. It looks like the Wyvern almost goes down. She uses a Soul Ring in that process, but just a quick heal, self-heal as well as the bottle, and they'll finish off the tower here up top. Meanwhile, look at bottom! Friggin' Faith! He's in a 1v0 lane. Undying just gets to walk all over the bottom lane. That is just disgusting. The fact that they've just allowed the Undying to do whatever the hell he wants to, try to address all the threats across the board, that's a losing position in the game. When your safe lane is completely unoccupied because you're trying to draw your core heroes everywhere else to fight, you're in a losing position, automatically. You're getting no farm on really any of your heroes. Bristleback right here, look at his net worth. 4,300 does not really compare to what TA and Ember can do with 7 to 1,000 more. Now XX Bingo is going to start on the gank train, and if the TA is able to follow it up with this Blink Dagger, we have some real potential. Actually going to miss a kill on the Quap there. Is that a DD Rune pickup? Yeah. DD Rune going in, Drum Slight, and then obviously the chain's locking her down long enough to go for the kill. So, pretty solid pick off for the Ember Spirit, and very unfortunate for the Queen of Bane to just walk into the wrong part of town under an Observer Ward. The Ember takes full advantage of that information. So yeah, Undying suddenly pushing bottom constantly has a mechanism coming out at like 14 minutes. Even faster. The Wyvern has the Tranquil Soul Ring up, and just across the board, TongFu is absolutely rich. Now, I know there are going to be people that look at U9's build and be like, what the hell, this Templar Assassin didn't go for the Desolator, where's the value? Why doesn't she go and get that cheap, amazing item to push down towers faster and to farm up creeps faster? Well, the reason really comes down to their heroes. They have a Nyx Assassin lurking, ready to fight, and they want the TA to be able to get in position to follow up on Vendetta plays constantly. Do, however, have a big jump here, Winter's Curse, and the Meld Strike to bring down the Dazzle instantly. No Shallow Grave, and they've already used the Stampede. There will be a beautiful combo from Monet, dropping the Scream Sonic Wave and taking down the Nyx early, thanks to the fact that his Spike Carapace was used. But now we have Shinkyu on the front line, double Searing Chains. Oh, a 3-man hoof stomp and a double edge, taking down the Undying and looking for Shinkyu too. Oh my, what a turn of events. U9 taking a lot of hits here, and Monet sending him packing with just one more right click. No, he melts, he blinks, and he'll look to disengage with the refraction. Centaur Warrior can't keep up. They want him so bad. He's down to 30 HP. What? Holy shit, what did you just do? Oh no! How, what did you just do, LPC? Why would you do that? What? 322. I don't, like, I hate that meme, I hate the entire idea behind it, but what the is that play? Winter Wyvern cold embracing your TA right here when they're chasing her down with no Blink Daggers, no Stampede. Like, yeah, maybe the quad blinks Shadow Strikes, but that's the least of your worries. You have a Blink Dagger, you'll try to keep running. Cold Embrace guarantees your hero dies. And then, of course, the Winter Wyvern died shortly after, giving away 366 as well. LPC making a very unfortunate error. We're going to see some good damage on the Bristleback if they can close the distance, but the Splendid Blast is nowhere near, and yeah, he'll just kind of hold his ground here, looking for the Crimson Guard as quick as he can. Crimson Guard's good against the Sleight of Fist, as well as the Tombstone Zombies. You can argue it's good against TA, but I'd say she's a little bit too bursty for it to really mean much. Like, she has so much bonus damage with her hits that your Crimson Guard block is going to be only taking down a small fraction of that. Still, he needed something to tank up to survive longer and longer in the fights. We're actually going to see a missed Searing Chains here as they lift up Shinkyu and put him back into his allies. But still, the Shallow Grave will merely delay the death of the Rubik. If they just have one more stun, there's the Searing Chains. That'll find 2 as the Dazzle goes down with him. Now into the Tombstone. They'll take down the Ward, but they've already lost 2 heroes and they're about to lose a tower. Tombstone going to be guarded here. Bristleback gets locked in position here despite that Stampede, and they will get a nice Winter's Curse. But they are going to get the Sonic Wave to kill off the Nyx Assassin. Once again, pretty squishy hero without the Carapace. But Shinkyu is still ready to fight. Dodges the Hoof Stomp narrowly, but might just get right click down. Nice Soul Rip to keep him up. Still, this Bristleback stands his ground, and it looks like he'll be okay. Will this be a Roshan attempt? I feel like with a Stampede down, you have a chance at it, but you're probably less confident thanks to the lack of Winter's Curse. You really want to force the Stampede, and then have your cooldowns available to take Roshan cleanly. Otherwise, the TA has to sneak it. Invisrune helping out on the Centaur Warrior. He's going to buy his Blink Dagger, so whether or not he dies here, it doesn't really matter, but they are going to get the Tombstone, and that should get the kill. Tombstone stolen by Rubik. We'll throw it the other way, and Dazzle is healing up XLW. They're going to kill off Faith, and the Centaur, if he just hits these zombies, will be fine. Zex Bingo walking away from the enemy Tombstone, and that's actually going to be a very nice turnaround for FTD.C. 10-13. I feel like TongFu were just in a much better position this game, but a lot of these fights have gone very awkwardly.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
So, Crimson Guard's complete for the Bristleback if he wants it. I see no... I mean, he could go for Mech. Mech Vanguard is probably a thing. It seems weird to have the components and then not finish the item itself. But it definitely could be an option. Oh, Shinkyu's really going aggressive here. I don't know if this is the right place to be. Finding heroes like Bristleback, you really just can't do anything to him. And he'll just farm up top instead. Yeah, so we're seeing Phase Drum Yasha come out from Shinkyu here. It looks like it's a Manta build. He's going for movement speed. He's very mobile. But, yeah, it's definitely different than what you normally see. And the Crimson Guard is complete for the Bristleback. Value Bracer Gaming for Dazzle just trying to survive. We do see a little smoke flick here coming all the way from the base. When you smoke from the base, you know that you don't have map control. You don't have any wards out on the map. You don't have any good understanding of where their wards are. So they smoke as far back as possible so that this doesn't show until the last possible second. They combo up on Shinkyu without the Flame Guard coming out, and that is going to be a very nice solo kill. Ancients being farmed once more. Double stack on the Radiant Ancients as well. We do see U9 here. He has this haste rune. There's really nothing to counteract this right now. And he could just look to be very, very aggressive for a solo kill potentially. But Bristleback's on the front line, clears out the trap, and it looks like U9 will just have to keep his distance. Don't wanna risk the cold embrace once again. You know, those are the kinds of situations where you uncheck assist. You're like, yeah, I want to disable help. So, Force Staff coming out for LPC. I'm seeing this item a lot more in Winter Wyvern, and overall it's just a great item. So, Force Staff, you know, when Blink got its its mana cost taken away, Blink just completely dwarfed Force. But I feel like Force Staff is back in play as far as one of the better utility items to pick up. Obviously, Lincoln's is a lot more common these days, so it's a good Lincoln's breaker. And just in general, I think that it's important to disengage from a lot of the spells that we see thrown about more and more frequently. Is that Rubik farming with Tombstone? That'd be awesome. I think it was expiring anyways, so you might as well throw it out. Now they think about Roshan, just making sure the TA is not doing it. As soon as the smoke doesn't pop there, they move elsewhere. But it is going to be Faith just hanging out on the high ground. And actually, U9 smoked up. They've just got this 2-man smoke. They're looking to go into the pit. And this might have just been the perfect time. Oh no, they just checked the pit. And now Unan's going to walk in and take a free roach for himself with Faith hanging out behind. They literally just smoked there, so there's no way that they can expect them to be in that position. The smoke is going to be perfect, and this is going to be TongFu getting a free Roshan. Centaur does have a blink. He has so many ways to get there, but they just don't expect it because the observer ward they have in position without it getting dewarded, and just in general the timing of the smoke. That's just so awkward for FTD.C. Alright, so Roshan dropping down. Pretty swift with the -6 armor. And that will be him. The Aegis going to U9 as well. It's just so annoying for FTD.C to have that timing taken away from them. If they engaged into the pit with their smoke, it would have been probably just another 3 kills for them. But now we're going to see the hoof stomp, trying to bring down Faith quickly before he can get any heals off. But there's a beautiful Winter's Curse, and he does get the tombstone out. Sonic Wave will come through, Faith will fall, but the Centaur gets cleaned up as well. Dazzle still has the Grave, might have to use it, but we do see Monet at least cleans up the Wyvern on the west. There's going to be a nice double stun coming in from Zex Bingo, and they'll clean up the Dazzle, as well as a million zombies here on the Bristleback. Cool Spray no longer killing these off. He's going to try to TP, and he will get chained up. Well, the Rubik dies to actually the TA, and then an illusion as well. That's going to be 4 for 2. 2 supports for everybody but the Queen of Pain, as she just has to run and hide. A triple kill for Shinkyu as well, and I believe they kept the Aegis. No, they did lose the Aegis in that, but well worth it to find that much momentum now. 1,000 free gold on an Ember Spirit, not only with his Phase Drum Manta, but ready to move into the next phase of the game. I'm curious if I'm assuming he will go back for the Battle Fury. It's still a really good item for late game Sleight of Fist, but this build is so different that you might just see like I have Scotty. Like, just tank through everything. I mean, ignore the Sonic Wave. Until you're up against like an Agadam's Refresher Queen of Pain, you can't really burst down a Manta Scotty Drums Ember Spirit. This is not really a thing. We're actually going to see Faith gone on here, silenced up early, so he's going to be going down quick. Doesn't even get to use the mechanism, and actually Zex Bingo going in, big stun combo, and they will get the Ember Spirit in play as well, but U9 blunk to the bottom, and that will be a fail. But we do see Centaur still caught completely isolated, and again, some great chains for Shinkyu. This guy's been really on point with this skill in particular. Monet, not a time to be farming. He does have the Orchid, but the Searing Chains hits first, and he Manta dodges before the Orchid can come out. He doesn't dispel it, but he messes up Queen of Pain's targeting right when she needs it the most. So there you go. Now 21-14, TongFu once again running a train over their opponents, and it's just going to get harder from here. I really feel like FTD's lineup was meant to really find fights at the 20-minute mark, and now they're getting just completely killed off. Bristleback's still pretty tanky here. They're going to need some heavy lockdown to deal with him, and in fact, he's just going to keep walking. Oh, but walking back into harm's way. Now they might have a chance as they do go for the Blink Impale. Searing Chains and Impale stacked up, but they get in front of him, and that's what's important. They will go for the Winter's Curse on the backline onto the Dazzle. But the Shallow Grave did its job, and Bristleback got to stay in play for a long, long time there. Shinkyu out of mana and life, but Centaur about to be killed off as well as the Impale comes through. Zex Bingo, just the marksman in this fight. Unnecessary Tombstone just to make sure they've got this tower under wraps, and that is going to be another clean win from TongFu. I really feel the game could have been a lot different if this rush had been just contested more directly. If the smoke hadn't gone the way it did, if FTD.C essentially waited 15 to 20 more seconds on their smoke at a seat, and they broke when the TA was in the pit, I feel like that could have been a very different scenario than what we see before us. But TongFu got their roast, they got the fights after the fact. That's 3 fights in a row, and now they're knocking at the Radiant base. Is that a Linken's build? Okay. So, I mean, it could still be Battle Fury. I think it's probably Battle Fury. I don't think Linken's is good this game, mostly would be the reason for that. Orchid gonna be manted off easily, and now Monet, oh my gosh, the damage combo! As they just carapace the Scream of Pain and bring him down quick. Wanding up, they're gonna go in for a little bit more as Centaur and Rubik are caught in a really bad spot. He will meld, he will get healed, but what doesn't matter? They've lost so much already. They can't hold their racks, and the Bristleback is going to be going down after the Shallow Grave expires. Dazzle killed off on the back line. Shinkyu wants one more. One single kill. Can he buy a gem? Just buy a gem from the shop. Dust. He tries to get it, swaps it to his inventory, but he nearly gets pulled into the fountain in the same time. So he leaves the dust behind. Sells it back. I think he gets that 180 gold. Either way, they have taken the bottom lane, and they're they'll line up with the better late game. They are in a great position to close this one out here and now. And while it looks like the mech failed, the mana restore is going to top everybody off and allow them to retreat with everything available. Yeah, Xinqiu's Battle Fury has been acquired. So yeah, no hyper stats build, but he still went for, you know, the Manta style. That's a very interesting deviation. Essentially, that shows how much he knows this Queen of Pain and what Queen of Pains will do in China. That they'll rush out the Orchid to try to beat Ember to the punch on that Manta style. Because your traditional Ember Spirit will go like BOTs, Battle Fury, and then Manta style. And the problem with that is that's two really expensive items before you have the ability to dispel Orchid. So the idea behind it, of course, is that then Monet, with a +1 of any stunner, which in this case would be Centaur, Queen of Pain Centaur could just always gank the Ember Spirit when he's farming solo. But he goes for the Phase Drum Manta build, and he gets the Manta complete at the same time as the Orchid, making it pretty much useless this game. It's good against the Wyvern, but we haven't seen it used that way just yet. And the Undying, it was used once against him, and it was really strong. But now Faith has a Guardian Greaves, and should be able to negate that as well. Interesting spot for Rubik here. And it's actually going to be featuring going in onto Faith. But he's got... Oh, he doesn't get the Guardian Greaves out in time. Gets burst down a little bit too hard here. And now they're going to combo up on U9. Wow, these are some big kills coming out. But U9 will meld, try to run away with the Glimmer Cape. But he actually just kills the Queen of Pain before going down himself. Now Xinqiu slashes down. One more target, and actually going to be looking for the Dazzle as well. No grave for you. Bristleback all by himself. And at least look to kill off the Nyx Assassin. Very close to killing him, but it looks like it's just not going to work out the way he wanted it to. Oh, gets the magic one. More quill sprays coming out. But in the end, it looks like the Bristleback will have to fall back. And actually going to be Xinqiu catching him with the chains. Oh, this is bad for Zex Bingo. You don't want to tune this too far under tower. Trying to just kite just outside the radius of the quill sprays. And finally Xinqiu. Oh! For the first time this game that I've seen, he misses the Searing Chains. And he gets 4-staffed in for the final hit. Ember Spirit doesn't get chained, but there is a pretty massive creep wave there to soak it up. And just Searing Chains for the Rubik. Not the worst spell, but probably not when you're 20,000 net worth behind. That's probably the worst time to have this kind of a spell. And there is going to be that gem finally coming through for LPC. So... just talking about the current state of the game, we've got 14, 2, and 12 on the Ember Spirit. Probably the hardest carry in this game. And then the TA right behind him, 7, 3, and 7. They both have a net worth of 15k plus. And now that Ember has a Blink Dagger. Why not? We've already seen Searing Change from across the screen. Now we're going to double that range. Meanwhile, the Courier gets picked up. This is Centaur Warrunner's Staff of Wizardry, which means for 3 minutes there's no way he finishes Aghanims, even if he sells an item.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And Queen Pain does pick up a BKB, that's kind of nice, but I think it just makes her more of a Winter's Curse Meltstrike target than anything else. I mean, they still want to focus on the Dazzle because the Shallow Grave is so clutch, but if they can find a way to pin down the Dazzle and then use the Winter's Curse on Queen of Pain, then TongFu just have the easiest teamfight of their lives. Overall items, anything else? That Aghanims on the Centaur is pretty huge, but that's not going to be there for a little bit. The supports obviously can't boast much. They're just so deprived of income. I really didn't talk about this too much, but that's what the Nyx Pix does. Is when you have him running around with his invisibility, with his Vendetta, he's just forcing you to buy so many Sentry Wards where you normally wouldn't be dewarding. So... we're going to see the jump in here. Nyx Assassin just goes for the longer range. Impale does connect, and Bristleback's mana is toast. Wow. Actually doing a lot more mana burn than I expected there, and now they're just going to try to get away. Cold Embrace, Glimmer Cape is a great way to keep somebody alive, and that's going to be a 3-man's Winter Curse on Monet. But that Grave comes out. They didn't control the Dazzle, and they are going to keep the Queen of Pain alive for a moment. Still just going to try to disengage. IU1 running out the zombies. pursuing their targets. Well, of course, the Bristleback will fall in the front line. Do the zombies get them? No. They finally do fall to the tower. But in the meantime, Shinkyu picks up a triple kill. And that was a hell of a cold embrace. Even though it didn't net the kill on the Queen of Pain, she couldn't do anything else for the rest of the fight. It nullifies her BKB. And then, obviously, they have the full capability of just killing everybody else right there and then. Great damage coming out from the Ember Spirit that fight.
Radiant's middle tower has
And that will lead us to the Tier 3 tower. One more lane, and that should be the GG. It's going to be FTD trying to make their final stand here without most of their cooldowns. No Sonic Wave, and the Stampede up soon, but maybe not soon enough. And the Aghadam's effect won't be there for 40. Oh, he doesn't even have the Alacrity, so never mind. Basher up for Shinkyu. He's ready to just knock some heads off here. They don't have that fast of tower push. TA is the biggest one, but we're just going to see him kill the heroes, and that's all they really need. GG does come out for Monet in the end. Game 1 of this best of 2 going to be going to TongFu in the end. Not too surprising after the past 10 minutes went the way they did. And again, I gotta say, it comes down mostly to Roche number 1. Another big aspect of it, I would say, is the Bristleback's low impact this game. When you put a mid Bristle out, you want them to do well. You kind of set them up on a pedestal to say, hey, I can be large in the charge, I'll get lots of levels fast. And to me, that means not only getting more CS than the offlane Bristleback, but it also means an opportunity to tap into that ancient stack. But either because they were afraid it would be scouted out and contested, or they just didn't have the ability to move up there while the Undying and the Nyx were putting out so much pressure bottom. Either way, they lost out on the ancient stacks. They almost had no stacks for him that game, and he just couldn't get off the ground. Crimson Guard, Sanjin Yasha, Bristleback, he's just a sponge for that fight. They really don't get much value out of that hero in that situation. So that didn't really work out for them the way they wanted to. The TA obviously trounced them, and the ganks were great from Faith and LPC. Both, they just really collaborated very well to punish that Bristleback early, get like 3 kills on him very, very early on, and overall a very smooth game from TongFu with only 1 or 2 missteps. So I think the first blood from the Nyx probably could have been something they avoided, and as well the death of the TA at the bottom rune. Kind of funny, makes a nice little highlight clip there, but in the end doesn't really amount to too much. TongFu take game 1 of the 2-game series, and we're going to be seeing game 2 coming up in just a few minutes, guys. Thank you guys once again for tuning in, and I'll see you in just a little bit for the second game. Once again, I am Blaze, broadcasting on behalf of BTS for Star Ladder iLeague China. If you enjoy the commentary, look me up at BlazeCasting on Twitter. Anyways, we'll go to some ads, and we'll come back with game 2 in just a minute.